Hey everyone, welcome to Reality TV News Update, the place where you never miss a moment from your favorite shows. The trivia game show airs on Fox and is hosted by Rob Lowe. That Rob Lowe, yes. The participants are arranged on a huge LED grid. Each player has an expert category that they try to defend. Two players engage in rapid-fire battles throughout each episode. The winner continues playing while the loser is eliminated. Also, the winner takes over the territory the loser had controlled. When confronting opposition, a great deal of planning is required, and the last person standing wins a $250,000 prize. At the conclusion of each episode, the player with the most grid spots, or squares, in control receives a $20,000 bonus. The Floor is challenged by a Big Brother All-Star. This season of The Floor has a player named David Alexander. David participated in Big Brother 21, but he was eliminated first. He got back in the house due to a twist, but exited on day 30. Jackson Mitchie won BB 21, Holly Allen was the runner-up, and Nicole Anthony won America's Favorite Houseguest. David appeared on Big Brother All-Stars 2 the following summer. David finished in 8th place on BB 22, and he voted for Cody Calafori to win. Cody was a unanimous winner over Enzo Palumbo. Davon Rogers won AFH. On the first episode of Season 5 of The Floor, David competed and won a battle before returning to the floor. David had to stand up for the carbonated beverages category. With a chance to battle for the $20,000 prize in Episode 1, David played it safe by returning to the floor. He inherited Vanessa's title as Sexiest Man Alive because he defeated her. During Episode 2, Kat challenged David. David was forced to defend Sexiest Man Alive as a result. He did precisely that. Again, rather than continue playing, David returned to the floor. Instead of pursuing an episodic prize, the former houseguest is opting for a long game. Will David get challenged again in Episode 3? Tune in to find out. We here at T on TV will be. The Floor Season 5 episodes air Wednesdays at 8/7 on Fox. Previous episodes are streaming on Hulu. More details and news from reality television. Here is the cast list for The Challenge Cutthroat 2. The new season features people from Big Brother, Love Island USA, Survivor, The Real World, and more. On the new American Gladiators, Big Brother alumni compete. The show returns to TV soon, with Amazon Prime resurrecting it. Big Brother fans are suffering withdrawal and already posting about BB 28. The buzz for the new season is also growing thanks to a recent post by Julie Chen Moonves. As the familiar grid of glowing squares spanned the stage of the floor, the studio lights came to life. Contestants stood on their tiles like generals surveying a battlefield, each one guarding territory, waiting for the next duel. Among them stood a face some viewers couldn't quite place at first, but once they did, social media lit up. Alex Vega. Years ago, Alex had been a houseguest on Big Brother All-Stars, unforgettable despite not being a winner or even a finalist. Known for quiet strategy, late-night whisper alliances, and a shocking mid-season blindside that had sent them packing, Alex had faded into the background after the show, or so everyone thought. Alex was now back, and this time they weren't just playing, they were dominating. The host's voice echoed across the set. Alex, you've won 3 duels in a row. You now control one of the largest territories on the board. What's your strategy? Alex smiled slightly, hands clasped behind his back. Remain calm, remain observant, and don't underestimate anyone. The answer sounded simple, but those who remembered Alex from Big Brother knew better. They used calm as a weapon. Observation was their power, and underestimation, that was their trap. Back in the Big Brother All-Stars house, Alex was overlooked from the start. Surrounded by loud personalities and returning legends, they had blended in, listening more than speaking. While others argued and formed flashy alliances, Alex made quiet, one-on-one, almost imperceptible connections. But invisibility had its cost. When a major alliance turned on itself, Alex became collateral damage. Evicted in a dramatic blindside, they left the house with a polite smile, but behind it burned something sharper, unfinished business. World landmarks is the category. The contestants muttered in unison. Renee, Alex's opponent, a self-assured travel blogger, grinned. "My specialty." Alex nodded politely. "Good luck." The screen lit up with the first image, a towering white structure gleaming under a blue sky. Renee buzzed instantly. "The Taj Mahal." "Correct." The next image appeared, a sprawling ancient ruin. Alex waited a split second, just enough to be sure, then buzzed. "Mama Picchu." "Correct." The back-and-forth duel continued, with each response increasing the tension. The audience leaned forward. Contestants whispered behind their podiums. Last question. A lesser-known landmark, jagged rock formations rising from mist. Renee hesitated. Alex didn't. Zhangjiajie National Forest Park. Silence. Then, correct. The buzzer blared. The audience exploded. Renee shook her head, smiling in disbelief. "You sandbagged that whole time." Alex gave a light shrug. "I've learned to be patient." But inside, Alex felt the shift. They had developed the same instinct that had failed them years earlier, waiting too long and trusting too much. Now hesitation was replaced by patience. It was precision. Backstage interviews told another story. A contestant admitted, "I underestimated Alex. They don't show everything they know. That poses a threat." Another added, "It's like they're playing a social game on a trivia board." And that was exactly it. While others focused purely on knowledge, Alex studied people. Who hesitated under pressure? Who second-guessed themselves? Who panicked when the clock ticked too loudly? It wasn't just about knowing answers. It was about knowing your adversaries. One evening, after securing yet another section of the board, Alex stood alone for a moment, staring at the glowing tiles. Each square represented a victory, but also a memory. The first duel, nerves barely hidden behind steady hands. The third, realizing others were starting to notice. The fifth point is to embrace the spotlight rather than avoid it. A producer quietly approached. "You've come a long way since your last show." Alex laughed softly. "I've had time to reflect." "About what?" Alex gave the board a second glance. "What I did wrong, and what I never got to prove." The next duel would be their toughest yet. Jordan Blake, a trivia champion with lightning-fast reflexes, had challenged Alex directly. The category, classic literature. The atmosphere changed as they entered the duel arena. Even the other contestants grew silent. Jordan smirked. "I've been waiting for this." Alex calmly met their gaze. "Me too." First question, a quote from Pride and Prejudice. Jordan buzzed. "Anne Frank." Correct. Second, a Moby Dick character. Alex buzzed. "Captain Ahab." Correct. The pace quickened. Sweat beaded on foreheads. Buzzers were coaxed by fingers. Third, fourth, fifth. Tie. Last question. A passage appeared. Dense, archaic, unfamiliar. Jordan hesitated. Just for a fraction of a second, Alex noticed it. Buzz. Paradise Lost. John Milton. A beat. Correct. The buzzer blared. The crowd exploded. Jordan exhaled, shaking her head. "That pause, you waited for it." Alex nodded. "Just like I used to wait too long." By the time the final rounds approached, Alex had become the story of the season. From overlooked reality contestant to dominant strategist, from background player to central figure. It was dubbed a repentance arc by online fans. But for Alex, it wasn't about redemption. It dealt with evolution. The host once more turned to Alex in the semifinal as the stakes increased and the board shrank. "Do you believe that your participation in Big Brother All-Stars prepared you for this?" Alex gave the question some thought. They concluded, "It taught me what happens when you play small. This time, I won't." The lights dimmed slightly as the next duel was announced. Alex stepped forward, shoulders relaxed, eyes sharp. No longer a mystery, no longer misunderstood, and without a doubt, not finished. Alex had a fleeting grin on his face as the first question came up, because this time everyone was watching, and this time
the lights on the studio floor glowed in sharp, geometric patterns, illuminating a battlefield of knowledge. Each participant occupied a square, representing territory gained and territory defended. Above them, screens flickered with categories, questions, and the ever-present countdown clock that seemed louder with every passing second. At the center of it all stood Marcus Hale. To some, he was just another contestant on the floor, calm, reserved, focused. But to others, especially long-time reality TV fans, he was something else entirely, a ghost from a different game. Years earlier, Marcus had entered the Big Brother All-Stars house as a wild card. Not the loudest, not the flashiest, but observant in a way that made people uneasy. He had a habit of watching conversations more than participating in them, of noticing alliances before they were spoken aloud. But observation alone hadn't saved him. He had been sent home at a time when his quiet strategy was beginning to take shape, and he had been completely taken aback. His eviction episode was remembered for one thing: the moment his expression shifted from calm certainty to stunned realization. And then he was gone. He was now back, and this time things were different. "Marcus, that's 4 territories in a row," the host said, pacing slowly across the glowing grid. "You're becoming one of the strongest players on the board. What's changed?" Marcus adjusted his stance slightly, eyes flicking briefly to the surrounding contestants before returning forward. "I stopped waiting." The answer was simple, but it carried weight. The category selection wheel spun and slowed. Ancient civilizations. Priya, a history teacher, Marcus's opponent, smiled with confidence. "This should be fun." Marcus nodded politely. "Let's see." First question. A stone carving appeared on the screen. Priya got a buzz right away. "The Mayans." "Correct." Second question. A series of symbols. Marcus waited a beat, then buzzed. "Cuneiform. Mesopotamia." "Correct." They moved in rhythm, fast, precise, relentless. Third question. A lesser-known artifact. Priya hesitated. Marcus never did. "The Indus Valley Civilization." "Correct." The audience murmured. The momentum had shifted. Last question. A fragmented and incomplete map. Both hovered over their buzzers. The clock ticked. 3, 2, and Marcus buzzed. "The Hittite Empire." A pause. Then, "Correct." The buzzer sounded. Another win. As Marcus claimed the new territory, the board shifted again, his section growing, others shrinking. Contestants began whispering more openly now, casting glances in his direction. "He's dangerous," someone muttered. "He's patient," another corrected. However, patience was not the only factor. Back in the Big Brother house, Marcus had relied too heavily on subtlety. He had seen everything, but acted too late. Misjudged the silence. Misjudged when to step forward. Here, on the floor, he had adapted. Observation was still his strength, but now he paired it with timing. In between duels, Marcus stood quietly at the edge of his territory, arms loosely folded. He wasn't just thinking about trivia. He was looking at people. The way one contestant bit their lip before buzzing. The way another always rushed, sometimes too fast. The subtle panic in someone's eyes when the category shifted outside their comfort zone. Knowledge alone was not enough to win battles. It was understanding pressure. "Next challenge," the host announced. "Marcus versus Ethan. Category, World Cuisine." Ethan grinned. "Hope you're hungry." Marcus allowed a small smile. "Always." First image, a plated dish. Ethan buzzed. "Sushi." "Correct." Second, a spiced stew. Marcus buzzed. "Goulash." "Correct." Third, something more obscure. Both were hesitant. Marcus noticed Ethan's finger twitch. Almost a buzz, but not quite. Marcus stood by, then pressed. "Tagine." "Correct." Ethan exhaled sharply. "You're reading my mind." Marcus didn't respond, but he was. By the midpoint of the competition, Marcus had become a focal point. Cameras lingered on him longer. His game was discussed in segments of the commentary. On the internet, viewers debated whether his method of silence was genius or luck. It wasn't luck. Not anymore. One evening, after a long streak of wins, Marcus sat alone backstage, the distant hum of the studio still echoing through the walls. A producer approached. "You've surprised a lot of people." Marcus gave a faint laugh. "I've done that before." "Not like this," the producer said. "You're finishing what you started this time." Marcus leaned back slightly, considering that. He said slowly, "I thought staying in the background would protect me the last time. And now?" He looked up, eyes steady. "Now, I know it just makes you invisible." The most difficult game arrived earlier than anticipated. Lina Torres, a quiz champion with lightning-fast reflexes and an almost intimidating presence on the board. She didn't hesitate, didn't second-guess, didn't miss. Category: Science and Nature. They faced each other under the bright lights, the tension almost tangible. First question: an illustration of a cell. Lina whirled. Mitochondria. Correct. Second: a chemical structure. Marcus buzzed. Benzene. Correct. Third: a rare species. Both were hesitant. Marcus saw it, the tiniest of Lina's eyes closing. Uncertainty. He buzzed. Axolotl. Correct. Now the crowd reacted clearly. Fourth, fifth, sixth. Tie. Last question. A complex and incomplete equation appeared, something that made even the audience murmur in confusion. Lina hovered. Marcus waited. A second passed. Then another. He remembered something, not from studying, not from school, but from a random documentary he'd watched years ago. A fleeting detail, barely remembered, but enough. Buzz. Schrodinger's equation. Silence. Then, correct. The buzzer roared. The audience erupted. Lina shook her head, smiling despite the loss. "You don't panic." Marcus slowly exhaled. "I used to." Marcus stood on one of the board's largest territories as the competition dwindled toward the final rounds. In addition, he stood in a different way, no longer merely watching. Rather than merely reacting, he was controlling the game. The host posed the question that everyone had been considering during a final interview before the semifinals. "Do you consider this to be retribution for your participation in Big Brother All-Stars?" Marcus paused. For a moment, the studio felt quieter. Then he spoke. "No," he said. "That was a different game, a different version of me." He looked out at the board, the path he had carved, tile by tile, the decreasing number of competitors, and the glowing board. "This," he continued, "is just proof I learned something." As the next duel was announced, the lights dimmed once more. Marcus stepped forward, steady and composed. The countdown started. The screen lit up. And somewhere, beneath the calm, beneath the precision, beneath the silence, there was something new. Not hesitation, not fear, but certainty. Because this time, Marcus Hale wasn't just playing to survive. He was playing to win.